In this video, we're going to talk about how we modeled the spoon for the little salt cellar. I'm going to start out by just making a small board, and then I'm going to go ahead and set a very small grid on this. So 0.025 grid spacing, we're going to center that grid, and we'll go ahead and turn our grid on. The next step that we're going to do here is we'll turn our snap on, and we will draw a rectangle. Okay, I know the design. I want the rectangle to be about 3.6 inches long and about 1/4 of an inch, and we'll go ahead and tell that to center it up. Next I'm going to do is draw an oval here. And we'll just tell that to center on there. Now, we're going to de-highlight those. Those are just my references. So when I actually start to draw, that gives me a guide of where to draw to. And we're actually going to use arcs because this is something that I want to be symmetric. So I can use an arc and kind of control the symmetry that way. And we're just going to go around and throw some arcs down around . Go ahead and zoom in here and correct a few things so that we're basically ending up symmetric all the way around. Kind of try to make sure that you're relatively tangent on your arcs. Draw a line here. If you hold the control key down, you will get a straight line. So you don't have to try to eyeball that. Then we're going to go ahead and make those lines constrained to be horizontal. That'll lock them in that way. Go back and put an arc on the end of this here. Okay, now we're going to turn off our grid snap. And we are going to walk through here and go to our tool to toggle tangency. And I'm going to go through and one by one, side by side, as I do that, and make sure that I kind of maintain symmetry in the geometry. Let's turn on our dimensions here. So before we get too constrained, you always kind of want to try to keep everything close. That way the constraint engine can assist you rather than fight you. Okay? Now the other way to change tangency is just go to the red dot, means that it's a free, not tangent. If we double click on that, see the T appear, changes to purple. And we see we shifted back here again, so we're going to go ahead and move that one there. And shift this up here. Double click it. And double click that one. That was actually kind of worked out pretty close. We're just a little bit off on our dimensions here, so we're going to move that to where we get them very close. Now Now you will see this a lot of times if it's got to move it too much. What the constraint engine is doing is actually looking at moving all of those points. So if it's sitting there saying, I've got way too much error that can be generated by that, then it will just pop back that, hey, I can't do this. So now we've popped those in, and that's too much there. Sometimes you just get out of where you want to be and just hit Control-Z for an undo. And there you see again, it can't move it quite that far, but we can come pull that in. That might be enough that we can get it to change now. No. Still carefully move it up. Yeah, we're probably close enough. Nope. That's close enough. I'm not going to worry about being 0.010 of an inch off. See if it'll take it now. There we go. All right, now we've got this thing constrained to be symmetric. Now we're just going to go ahead and go to our carving. We're just going to slap a region on that. And let's take that to 5.5. I want it to be fairly thin spoon. We're going to come back with this here. And we do have that constrained. Let's go ahead and just do a bubble dome. We're going to make it pretty sharp, and I don't know, 1.7. And we're going to invert that, and we're going to grab those two elements and we are going to group them, and then we're going to set this one to be subtractive. Now let's turn off all of this grid, and you can kind of see what we've created here. So we've got a nice little spoon. We're going to grab that group and we are going to make pattern. So just turn that into a pattern. And we just give it a name. Call it test spoon for right now. Once that pattern has been created, it'll show up in your pattern library. Just double click on that to open it up in Sculptor. Do that there. Go ahead and just do a smoothing on that. Now just give a general smooth to that, which pretty much all we really need to do to this here. Go ahead and hit accept. If there's more that you want to do on the smoothing side, you can go through and smooth out some additional things if there's something you want to do. Otherwise, just go ahead and go to export. The shell will send it right back to Designer, and you have your spoon. We have our test spoon. Just go ahead and drop that down. You can hover over it and see how deep that is. So we actually want to push that down to about 0.7. Put your bit optimization on best. Go ahead and give it a little bit of a draft there. Then we'd go ahead and, of course, when we are using this, we'd outline the pattern, offset that outline. Hitting OK gives you the preview. Hitting OK again will accept that. Grab that, put a region, pierce that down, and that's how we would actually produce that spoon. One thing to note, when you are going to carve something like this, always keep your grain in mind. So this, you're going to want to have the grain running along the length of the spoon. If you don't, the spoon will just break. And that's how you create a spoon.